Hey guys, welcome back. So today, I want to start kind of reviewing for our semester end stuff, and I want to make sure that you guys are familiar with some of the things that we did a while ago now at this point. So this is our warm up today. It's a little bit of a review of the angle addition postulate as well as the segment addition postulate. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll go through. And today we're going to take a look at algebraic story problems. So when you guys go to solve these, the first thing that you guys are going to do is you guys have to remember what the angle addition postulate states. The angle addition postulate states that when you have two adjacent angles, the sum of the two adjacent angles equals the whole angle. So what that's telling us is right here, this whole angle here is going to be the smaller angles added up. So we know that that whole angle is 114 degrees, and we know that JHI here, angle JHI, is 58. So if we want to set this up as a simple algebraic expression, we can say 58 plus x equals 114. Should come up with 56 degrees as the measure of angle GHJ. Right. The second one, there's a couple different options you guys can do. You can recognize that it is a whole circle, and a whole circle is 360 degrees. We haven't really talked about that yet. But we do know that we can take 360 degrees as a whole circle and make this one of those things that we can easily do. All right, so here's what you guys can set this up as. You guys can set it up as 299 plus 39 plus b, all right, equals 360 to solve for b. It's one way to do it. Or we can say 299 minus 360, okay? So that would be another way, 299, 360, and solve for that. And you can get that. But ultimately what you'll have to do is come up with the fact that b equals 22. All right, and you just solve that basically by walking through that. Last but not least, we have got this one again. It's telling us that this whole angle measure here is 151 degrees. It's giving us 65 degrees in CFG. All right, so it's again 65 plus our unknown angle x equals 151. Solve it like you would. Subtract 65 from both sides, and you're left with 86. All right, I'm going to jump down to the lower right-hand side to start, because the lower right hand side is a little bit easier for us to see. Remember that the segment addition postulate states that if you have a full segment made up of smaller segments, if you add all of those smaller segments up, they equal the full segment. So what that looks like is taking segment IJ, adding it to segment JK, and adding it to KL, and that would be the total segment of IL. Okay, for our purposes, it would be 12 plus 10 plus our unknown x equals 33, right? 22 plus x equals 33, right? Sorry about that. Stylus isn't working very well today, right? Subtract 22, you get x equals 11 as your answer there. Okay, last one. This one's a little bit more difficult. They tell us that the full length of it is 24, right? So when we look at that, we know that all of those segments added up equal the segment EH. Now we want to know the specific segment in the middle, but we know that the whole segment is again 24. Now they're not going to give us EF and FG and GH and just ask us to identify it, or just GH and EF. This one's a little bit more complicated. So they want us to be able to identify that the whole segment is 24. E to G is 20, which makes G to H basically 20 plus x equals 24. Solve that out, we get 4. Okay. Next one is they want us to identify that h to f is 13. 13 plus x equals 24. You subtract that out, and you are left with 11. Okay. So now you know basically 11 plus x, x being fg, plus 4 equals, what's it equal? 24. All right, you get 15 plus x equals 24, x equals 9. And that's how you would go about and solve your warm-ups today. Now, I want us to look at some independent practice and some algebraic story problems. When we do algebraic story problems, I like to read through the question, go back, and mark important information, and then work out towards the answer. So in this one, we're talking about car repair. The bill, parts and labor, for the repair of a car was $458. The cost of parts was $339. The cost of labor was $34 per hour. Write and solve an equation to find the number of hours of labor. So write and solve an equation is the question. So we need to make sure that we A, write an equation, and B, solve the equation to find the number of hours. Now let's go find some important information. All right, the total was 458, cost of parts $339, and the labor was $34 an hour. So how can we write an equation that represents this? Well, we know that the total was 458. Total is another way of saying the word equals. So when we see that, we know the total cost of parts was $339, and we know that the labor was $34 an hour, but we don't know how many hours they worked. That is the question, right? So that is our unknown. We'll call it 34H. All right, subtract it out. There's my equation. That's the first part. I can check off, the right part. I did that. All right, minus 339 from both sides to get the variable by itself. Left with 9, 1, 1. All right, opposite 119 is what we're left with. So we know that that equals 34H. We divide by 34 once again to get that variable by itself. Right? So we are left with H equals 3.5. Now, am I done? Hopefully you responded no, because I need to know the number of hours. 3.5 is just a number. So I need to write it took 3.5 hours of labor. And now I am done. All right? So again, that's kind of there. This one's a little bit more difficult, but it's something that we can easily comprehend. 2 students, volunteers, are stuffing envelopes for a local pantry. The mailing will be sent to 506 possible contributors. Lewis can stuff 160 envelopes, and Mia can stuff 120 envelopes. So working alone, what fraction of the job can he do? Well, if he can stuff 160 envelopes in 1 hour of the possible 560, it's pretty easy for us to see that that is there. Okay. Now, if they want us to say in a number of hours, we convert 160t, as he can stuff 160 envelopes in 1 hour. All right. So that would be there. Now, it does say lowest term, so we have to simplify this. I would start by taking out my 10, be left with 16 over 56, and then find out what could possibly go in there. Well, 8 goes into both, so it's 2 over 7. T is your answer for number 1. Mia, on the other hand, she can do 120 of 560. Okay, and we can add the t there to keep that into what the question's asking. Okay, so that's Lewis. Now Mia, we take 10 out, we're left with 12 over 56. T, can simplify that one more time. Let's take out 4. All right, we are left with 3 over 14. T as that answer. And as you work your way through, you can kind of see, now what can they do together? We can say 160 plus 120, all right, multiplied by t over 560 would give us that. Should come up with 280 over 560 t, all right? And what we can do there is just easily solve and see that it's 1/2 t, so they could get this job done in 2 hours. And that's how you would answer that question. It asks a lot more specifics, but that's how you do it. Again, thank you for watching. Appreciate your time, and I will talk to you later.